Hey family, all they have to do is throw the bone and somehow we will go for it and bite into it. We're the only beings, the black people, we're the only beings on the planet that have the will and the power. We are an electric body group of people. Currency flows through us. We're the only ones with soul. If we weren't the only ones with soul, why do we have soul music? Which music in itself is what comes from us. Something that emanates from the body. So it emanates from our deepest part of us, the energy source. So we are very much needed to bring to life. Electricity brings to life and we transfer energy into almost anything to give life to it. I want to talk about today the big picture. The big picture of currency, will and power. Like I said, we're the only ones that contain will and power. So that is much needed to keep alive the system that bounds us, has us in lockdown and under control, and not fully understanding our will and power, our deepest selves, our higher selves. So when we look at our entertainers, this society has us looking at them as we look at the stars above. And knowing that they control our perception of things, which that is control, they can then they can enact the need for us within ourselves to utilize our will and our power to the effect that it benefits them. So what we see in Africa is we see a lot of their entertainers that are trying to infiltrate the political scene, and a lot of them have been enticed by these Western countries, to do so they can be under control. As for us here, we are who bring power and energy into the currency, the money, the fiat. So as long as they can keep us giving our energy to that, to the money, then they can keep us under a certain amount of control. Such as Colin Kaepernick. And saying, believe in something that you're willing to sacrifice. My question would be, I watched Roland Martin's talk about how these companies are actually standing up for Black Lives Matters for us. But family, I'm here today to tell you, don't be lied to on this, because the whole thing is, like I said about watching your all six, your front of you, the back of you, beside the right side of you, the left side of you, below you, above you. You seriously have to know the game and understand that that's exactly what it is, a game played. And Colin Kaepernick is a pawn in that game through simple science of currency, electric currents. If they can get our trust in capitalism, so capitalism is coming to the rescue of Black folks, but capitalism is not giving a dime to Black folks. But capitalism wants to say, believe in something, sacrifice everything. But my question would be to Roland Martin and to people who are up in arms about how Ford Company and Nike is coming to the rescue, coming to the support of the Black community, would be, why do we need anyone to take notice of attributes of peace, reciprocity, justice, love, sacrifice. Why do we need anyone to take notice of those things? I say that when I was in the military, that if I was doing something heroic to save someone, by no means do not recognize it. Come and do the same. Come and help with it. Come and join me. That would be the greatest thing in the world. Don't just say that my sacrifice has to be recognized. The recognition I would want for my sacrifice, the only recognition I would want for my sacrifice is that many other people would be following my example and do the same. I would prefer people to have the same attributes of justice, reciprocity, peace, all of that. Then I would rather, I wouldn't want to be recognized for just those things. Because what's the point of doing if you're not encouraging others to do as well? Instead of sitting back and recognizing. All right, Myron. We should all have those things about us where it's not just being looked upon or recognized or just admired. These should be the things that we should have within life, period. These should be the things that the building blocks of our characters, of our life. This should be something that everybody goes through with. And it's not anything abnormal that needs to be recognized. Because when you recognize something, you're saying, well, this is not what this world is built upon. We never see it too much. It's like having a Incredible Hulk appear that you don't think will ever appear again. That's what recognition is kind of like. It's just that one moment in time, which it shouldn't be. It needs to be something that everybody carries. So that's the problem I have with needing capitalism to recognize a sacrifice. We're asking it from the wrong characters. So that in itself should show us that it's a tricky game that's been played upon us. It's a very tricky game. Akon had me fooled. I thought he was really trying to build up the continent of Africa and his people over there. But Just like Martin Luther King, he's sleeping white, Caucasian. And he's working for the West. He's working for what we see, China. So we can't really trust our own who have decided to sell their soul for money and fame. We really can't trust them anymore. We got to realize we have to start drawing a line to cut off the enemy's life source. And that line is drawn where in several different places. But I'd say first with capitalism and feeling the need to have someone pay attention to our strife. Like they can change our strife. We have the power within us. We have the power within ourselves to change our own strife. We have the will and we have the power, but we lend it out to their currency. We give it out because we give rise. And they know that the Super Bowl, and they do not want us to boycott the Super Bowl. So they know that the Super Bowl, is coming. So they're going to do what they need to do so they can have their little commercials, Ford and Nike. And of course, they rely on us because Caucasians, like Roland Martin said, Caucasian, like they said on his show, they're not buying shoes like we are. You see the shoes they're burning. They're not burning the real deal. And that should be an eye-opener for us. Not only that, we need to ask ourselves the question, do we need capitalism to come out and stand beside us? When capitalism is not even it's a system that's been against us for the longest time. And they're just using us, like I said, they're just using our energy. And it's hard for me to understand exactly why we're not just running the other way, and why we sit and we know the situation, but then we can fall easily to the trap. We fall easily to the trap of thinking that somehow there's a possibility that they can change when that's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. I also wanted to talk about how hold on a second. it's important that we meditate and go into our higher states. And the laws of Ma'at, I think it's important that we, as people, we maybe start teaching our communities the laws of Ma'at, you know, and how to utilize it, how to go into higher self on an individual basis, helping individuals to understand this is very, very, very important, and to empower our people, you know, as we meet each other, as we see each other. You know, it's very critical to know thyself and the empowerment that we have within us. Because a lot of our people I see, we don't know anything about ourselves besides what we know here and what we've been taught. And we think that that's who we are, when we are more than what meets the eye. We are more than meets the eye, what we think, or what we've been programmed to think and see around us as our reality, family. It's rainy and stormy today. I don't know what that thing was. It was real fast that went by. I keep seeing it. It's very weird. But we have the, you know, and then again, if we didn't have the will and the power, why else would they need us? Why else would they need us to be in captivity and to do all the labor work if we weren't the ones with the empowerment? For another group of people to have to use you, you must have something that they lack. And I also wanted to talk about today, there's a $5 Indian here in Hampton, Virginia. I call him $5. Either he got whitewashed out or he's a $5 Indian because he's a Caucasian. And he calls himself a Native American. So, and they had it on our news that they have found he's part of the Nansmond Native American tribe, and they were talking about how they excavated here in Mallory in Hampton, and they have found a man and a woman believed to be from the 900s. But I saw this man. They showed him. Supposed to be Native American, but looking Caucasian. And he says he's a doctor, but he's part of the Nansmond Indian tribe here in Hampton. And like I said, they date the bodies, they date the bones that they found back to the 900s. And he says these are his ancestors because they found it on the native tribes' burial grounds. And what's interesting to me is very, very interesting to me is how it's all going to play out when they do the testing of the bones, because we know that DNA diagnostics center as far as trying to find out your ancestry is a lie and a fraud. So I'm wondering if they're gonna say that these are Neanderthal bones, and then try to date them back to 900s, or are they gonna be honest about it being the dark black African people that were here during the 900s and beyond? That's what I'm interested in. But we know, family, that this place that we're in, our planet has been overtaken by these beings who lack empathy, sympathy, justice, peace, love. All these things are something they can act with, not really embody. So I would say to you, family, keep your eye, the third eye, open wide and see, just as I see, just as many of us can see, what truly the deal is in this place that we are in. Don't fall for the heartfelt speeches with heartfelt meaning of emotion, because many will appeal to us through emotion because they know emotion is our weakness. So we need to understand the game that's been played upon us and how it's been played, so that we can set up our defense. And when we connect with our higher self, we really don't need no defense, because things that it won't phase us. It bounces off. I did have a dream the other day. I remember on one of my videos I did say I felt helpless when it came to helping the children out here that have been harmed. But my higher self had a way of showing me in a dream that that's not true, that I'm not helpless. Because I had another vivid dream that I was searching and dealing with wicked beings out here that are kidnapped. And I had to search and search and search, and I didn't give up on searching I didn't give up on searching. And as I was searching, no matter what danger was there, the danger could not, evidently, it couldn't touch me, it didn't bother me. And I was able to save. I was able to save a child and other people from death, from being murdered by wickedness.
I'm on your line.
Okay. Here. And to me, I took that as a message of never say you're helpless. So I already know better than to say I'm hopeless, because that just gives fuel, and it's not anything you want to ever speak to the universe. We never want to speak those words out to the universe about being helpless or hopeless or any of those other negative words. But family, know that it is critical that we not become paranoid or about things, but to know for 100% fact about things and understand that there are two different group of enemies, of our enemies we deal with. The ones who are clueless and the ones who know. You don't want to spend time and energy on the ones who are clueless. The energy needs to be spent more on the ones who know better. So those are the ones we need to deal with the most. And I will be going live later on because the planets are all going to be lined up this weekend. And right now it's kind of rainy, and hopefully it'll be cleared later on. But when the planets come out, we can see them more vividly, more better lately, because everything coming closer into the Earth. So Mars, Venus, Jupiter, all of those planets. I'm gonna be going live probably around 9 or 10. Hopefully it clears up. But always remember, family, true love, real peace, and our higher selves within the soul. Until next time, family, keep your third eye wide open to help you balance out the two eyes. At the base, at the lower level, so that it can come up to the higher self and make sense of what you see with the two eyes. That you can protect thyself. Till next time, family. See you later.